Let's dive into Gracie's training so we can stay consistent at home. Whenever we're working with Gracie, we want to make sure that we reward the behaviors we want to continue to see. That's going to increase the rate of those behaviors, and we want to make sure that we follow through using her training equipment when she doesn't do a behavior that we're asking or if she pushes a boundary in some way. So let's go over how to do that with her commands. So first things first, we have her prong collar here. This is what we're going to use anytime we have Gracie on a leash or when we take her for a walk. In the beginning of her training stages, I recommend using a leash even in the house. That way we can help guide her with certain commands and new experiences to kind of give her more of a boundary, especially when we're working around the baby. So how to put this on and take it off, we're going to push down one of the links. That way it comes apart like this, and then we're going to put it around Gracie and squeeze this link in and pop it through like that. So then we are going to attach the leash to the D-ring. It's the one that swivels. Oh, you want to make sure that it makes a nice triangle like this. So the D-ring is right here. Whenever we take Gracie for a walk, for example, I recommend having her in the heel command. Heel means walk next to me on a nice loose leash while we're on our walk. I would say about maybe 60 to 80% of her walk should be in the heel. The other 20 to 40% you can tell her free and she can sniff and kind of go wherever on the leash, but in the heel she needs to stay right next to us. If she gets a little distracted and she wants to walk ahead or do anything other than walk next to us on a nice loose leash, we're going to say no. We're going to mark the incorrect behavior with a verbal no, follow through with a pop and release, and then repeat the command. This is what you're going to do for every command. It's no, follow through, and then repeat some sort of command. No, follow through, command. No, follow through, command. Same thing with the remote collar, just a little bit different. So she's going to wear this collar every day. She can wear it 12 to 14 hours a day, has to come off at night. How to turn this on, this little red dot right here is a magnet. So we're going to turn the collar on by using the remote. Here's the matching red dot. We're going to touch these two together, and the green light is on, ready to go. That's going to flash every so often to let you know that the collar is fully charged. If you start noticing that the green light is looking orange or red, that means the collar needs a charge. Now we need to turn on the remote itself. So the on-off button back here, we're going to push and hold that until the screen lights up. You're going to see a number 25 on the screen. That is what her level is at out of 100. So not too high, right about average. We're going to use the black S button, and then I'm going to go over all the buttons in greater detail at the end of the video. So how to use the remote collar. Let's use heel as the same example. So we're going for a walk, something distracting happens. She is no longer following the command of heel, so we tell her no, follow through with a tap of the button, and then tell her heel again. So no, heel, no, heel. It's a little tingle. It gives her a signal of, hey, that's not quite right. Do this command that I'm verbalizing. And then, of course, when she is doing a good job with the command, we're going to say good, praise, good heel, and reward with treats, obviously. In the beginning, I recommend using more treats to transfer over the training because we are going to be following through and setting some firm boundaries with her. So it's really nice to match that with rewards as well. So let's go over the other commands. So we also have sit. Sit means stay until she is told to do something else. So whether that's heel with us or free, like for example, door manners. When we walk up to a door, we're going to have her sit. That way, going out for walks, there's a hint of structure. What the goal is all of these extra little boundaries will kind of go into that playtime again. So it's not as rambunctious for her when it's time to play with her balls. So anyway, we have her sit, open the door. You can either heel through the door with her or give her a verbal reminder. Sit, because stay is implied, but those little verbal reminders help her understand that we want her to stay instead of follow us. We walk through the door, and then we can tell her free to come through. If she gets up before you say free, follow through with the equipment and put her back into a sit. Those little nudges are super important that we stay consistent and have firm boundaries. That way she doesn't push the envelope in other areas like with playtime. So if she gets up before you say free, follow through, have her sit, and then she has to wait until you release her from that command. So then we have down. Down means lay down and stay. So this is a good command to practice, especially when you don't have like a place bed available. It helps to just kind of calm Gracie down a little bit, give her a little break. But so to put her in the down, we're going to give her a verbal down. If she doesn't, no, follow through with the equipment. So it's a little pop of the leash, pop and release of the leash, or using the remote collar down. Then when you want her to stay, again, giving that verbal reminder. You're going to see examples here soon in the rest of the video. Now with the down stay and the place stay, We don't release from a distance. We always go back to Gracie, tell her she did a good job, and then we'll tell her free. Unlike a sit stay, we can release from some distance. We can tell her it's okay to get up from some distance. With the down in place, we always need to go back, tell her she did a good job, and then tell her free. We don't want to free from a distance with those because we want that stay to be really strong. And again, you'll see examples of that in the video. So you'll go up to her, good down, then free. So with place is going to be your popular command that you're going to use in the home because it's a boundary stay on a bed. It's not like a timeout zone, but it's like I need you in one specific spot. She can stand, sit, or lay down on the bed, but she has to keep all 4 paws within the boundary of the bed. That's why we use an elevated boundary. So with place, we're going to put her on place. Now with Benny running around, playing with toys, her job is to stay on the bed. When we reward her, we want to put the treats on the bed so she knows that the bed is the positive zone for her to be on. So as long as she stays on, great. If she gets off, no, follow through. In the beginning, like I said, you want to make sure you have a leash on too so you can guide her back to the bed because it's going to be so distracting. Not only having the toys, but also Benny running around is a big distraction for her because they love each other, they want to play with each other. So we want to make sure we help guide her back to the bed, help her out a little bit, maybe even stand next to the bed and work on reinforcing when she is staying and just use a little bit of leash to get her back on the bed if needed. So then to release her, we come up to her, we tell her good place, and then we tell her free that she can get off of the bed. Like let's say Benny's playing with his basketball and he stops and he's done playing with it, then she can be free from the bed. So she is less tempted to go for the ball when he's going for it because she knows that her job is to stay on the boundary of the bed. Okay, so then we have come when called. So whenever we're practicing come when called, we'll probably have her outside in a free. When she gets distracted, we'll call her to us. We want to make sure that we reward every time she comes to us to create that positive reward history of coming when we give her that command come. So if you have her out, she's free. If you're not in a fenced-in area, practice safety first. Have a leash on her. That way if she doesn't come to you, there's some way to reel her in. If she doesn't, no, follow through. If she does, good girl, have her sit and reward. Remember, the commands are no longer a suggestion. If she does not follow a command, we follow through with the tools until she does follow the command. That way she understands that there's new boundaries in the house, and with new boundaries comes a new mindset, especially around the toys. And then we have leave it. So leave it is with Benny's toys, Benny's balls, whatever the case is. We're playing fetch. He runs for it. Leave it means get away from that thing. Get away from that item. I don't care if we're bouncing it right next to you. If we say leave it, you need to back up. So practice this daily to keep it fresh in her mind. Because let's say we go 2 weeks without really doing leave it because there hasn't been a need for it. She will get rusty, just like anybody else. When you're practicing a skill, if you do it a little bit every day, you will stay on top of that skill. Same thing for dogs. We have to make sure that our expectations are realistic. So each day, maybe put the leash on her and practice leave it with Benny's toys and all of that other stuff that we don't want her grabbing at the same time that he's grabbing. So those are her commands. Again, we want to reward the behaviors she does that we want to keep seeing. So when she does leave toys alone, reward that. Even if it's just praise and petting, ideally treats, but any reward to reinforce that, hey, I like that behavior. That way we keep seeing that behavior. And then, of course, make sure to follow through with all the unwanted behavior so that decreases that rate of those behaviors. So have fun, stay consistent, and now we're going to show you Gracie's commands in action. Down. Good girl. Down. Good. Down. Good. Down. Down.
Doing okay?
Yeah, we're just training.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Good girl. Good. Down. Free. Free. Gracie, free. There you go. Good girl. Sit. Good girl. Sit. Free. Place. Place. Let's go over the rest of the features of Gracie's remote collar. So we know how to turn the collar on. Let's go ahead and turn the collar off. So it's the same exact way, except you're going to see a red light. Red light is off, green is on. So this collar can last a couple days on a charge as long as you charge it at night. I would do every other night. It should last about 24 hours. So if she wears it 2 days in a row, take it off at night. Make sure that, she goes to sleep without this on, and then you can put it on the next day. Probably every other day is good with a charge. To turn the remote off, press the on-off button in the back, push and hold it until the screen is blank. We'll turn that back on. So we talked about the black S button. This is going to be your primary button that you're going to use whenever you're following through with Gracie and really communicating. The red button is for emergencies. This would happen, let's say, if both Benny and Gracie were going for a ball at the same time. You told her leave it, but she is already chasing it and she doesn't look like she's slowing down. This is what you would use. This is the boost feature. So this is really going to grab her attention because it's obviously a little bit more intense than the regular 25. Because when she's playing with a ball, her adrenaline is up here when normally it's probably cruising somewhere down here. So we would need a level to match that adrenaline, and that's when you would use the boost feature. So then let's go over the rest of the buttons. We have this T button over here, which is vibrate. This is great before you put it on Gracie to make sure that you vibrate the collar to make sure that it is on before you actually put it on her. Because sometimes the magnets are a little tricky and we accidentally turn the collar off before putting it on Gracie. So then the on-off button right here is also a light, so you can see her at night. That's pretty helpful, when she's out going to the bathroom. Just nice to have that little light feature. And then the M/C button on the back here, you don't really have to worry about that little button. That changes the stimulation from momentary to continuous. In the beginning, we used a continuous level on a very low level stimulation to introduce like what the collar was and that there's treats and the commands and everything. Now we just use it as an as needed button if she chooses to ignore or not do the commands that we're asking of her. All right, so level 25 is what's working for Gracie right now. This could change. So how to adjust it. So we have this dial right here. Right now it's locked. We're going to push down and hold it until the 1D at the top is flashing, and now we can adjust the level how we need to. So this can change over time. Once she kind of has a better understanding of the commands and her mindset overall gets more calm as she understands the boundaries and everything in the house and the new commands, she might need a lower level in the house. If she's less distracted in the house, then she'll probably need a lower level. But if the distractions kind of match at home like they are here, where she's a little more distracted, then probably 25 or 30. So you'll just kind of see. If you notice that you're having to use it a lot, then you'll probably want to bump that up a little bit. If you notice that she's having a pretty big reaction to it, you can lower the level a little bit. So then we put it to the level we want and lock it in place. Perfect. This is rechargeable. So we've got the little chargers back here. And then on the collar right here, the little charger underneath. This is waterproof, so she can go swimming and still wear this. I have the little short prongs on, but I'm actually going to change to the long prongs after the video. That way it can go through her hair a little bit better. But anyway, easy on, easy off. It is waterproof. However, let's say she goes swimming and she's wearing this. Make sure when she's done swimming to take this off, because it does have to fit snug so that the contact points make good connection to her skin. We don't want water to get in underneath there and build up bacteria, which could lead to a hot spot. So make sure to also, every few days, if it's over here, put it over here. That way she doesn't get like a little hot spot right there, because again, this does have to fit snug for 2 reasons. 1, these have to make good connection to her skin, and 2, we want to make sure that these little prongs aren't rubbing around, because that can cause skin irritation too. In the box here, we have the original strap that the collar came with. This clicker, which you can use, you don't have to use. We have the charger, which will charge both the remote and the collar at the same time. And then, of course, the extenders, which we will be changing that. And we will change them with this little tool, because as summer comes to an end, she's going to start getting her winter coat too. She's going to be a little too thick, I think, with her hair being really thick around her neck. So we'll need those longer prongs to kind of weave through the hair anyway. So that little tool we're going to use to change that. Extra lanyard. We do have the instruction manual here if you want to go over all the buttons in greater detail, but for the most part we covered everything. And this does have a 2-year warranty, but if you notice anything is acting funky on the collar, you can call them and they can help you through it. They do have a 2-year full warranty, so if anything does happen to the collar within the next 2 years, they'll send you a replacement. All right. So this is the contact info, but it's in the box too. So that's the other features of the remote collar. Pretty easy once you get the hang of it. It's just getting used to the buttons and what they do. But if you have any questions, please let us know. So have fun, stay consistent, and let us know if you have any questions.